everyone, welcome to another episode in our financial series, Moneysense, the show where we help you to make sense of all things money. My name is Mandie Powell and joining me today is Mrs. Hope Forbes Sterling. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you, Mandie.
Today we will be talking about debt management, for better or worse. Please ensure that you check out our previous episode where we spoke about borrowing, the wise versus the foolish ways, where you will get valuable tips on how to borrow and when to borrow. So Hope, debt, if not managed properly, can sometimes be very overwhelming on us as individuals.
Yes, Mandie, I agree with you, and that is why I'm so happy that we are here today to educate our viewers on how they can manage their debt effectively. So when we talk about debt management, we are talking about the process in which there's an action plan or a strategy in place by the debtor to manage their payments effectively. Keeping track of your debt is very important. As a good debt manager, you want to ensure that you keep track of who you owe, how much you owe, and what your payments are, because you want to ensure that you're keeping up to date with your financial obligations.
So Hope, what you just described for us is a debt tracker, and I would love, for the benefit of our viewers, for you to just state all the information that is in the debt tracker.
Very well, Mandie, I am so happy to do so. So the debt tracker can be done on an Excel sheet, or if you don't have access to an Excel sheet, you can basically just write it in a notebook. So what you will want to do, you will want to make note of all the financial obligations that you have out there, all the loans that you have. So it could be an auto loan, it could be mortgage, it could be student loan, it could be credit cards, whatever loan you have, make note of all of them. Remember, we said earlier that as a good debt manager, you want to keep abreast of who you owe, how much you owe, and what the repayment amount is. So you have listed all the institutions, all the loans that you have, all the institutions you owe, all the loans that you have. You also want to make note of when you open that loan, right? The start date for the loan, when the payment is supposed to be paid, and also the end date, the maturity date for the loan. You also want to ensure that you keep track of the payments. So for some of us, you know, we might, the repayment might be done through via salary deduction, and so we take it for granted that the payment is always coming through. It is our responsibility as a debtor to keep in touch with that financial institution to ensure that the payments are coming over from the company as arranged. So we have an example of the debt tracker on the screen. This can be done on an Excel sheet. If you don't have access to an Excel sheet, you can basically just write it in a notebook. So on the screen, you can see that we have all the credit accounts. This is where you list basically all the loans that you have. In the next column, you have date open. This is the date that you actually applied or got the loan. The next column, we are looking at the opening balance, and in this case, this is the amount you borrowed plus interest, the overall balance. And then we have the repayment term. This is the period that the loan was granted for. So the next column, so for example, for the repayment period, we have 60 months for the auto loan. It would mean that you have gotten 5 years to repay that auto loan, right? The next column, we have the current balance. You will realize that there's a difference between the current balance and the opening balance. This would mean that you have already made some payments on the loan, and to date, when you're checking, this is where your balance is at. In the interest rate column, this is the rate that you got the loan for. In most cases, this rate is the per annum rate. And then our next column, we have the monthly payment, right? So for the auto loan, your monthly payment is $38,000, mortgage $26,453, and so on. Then date of next payment. So for this particular example, we're seeing that the next payment is October 31st. Then we move to the estimated end date. This is the maturity date for the loan, and you realize that based on the various loans, the date varies. So in our next column, we have order of payment. You want to ensure that you pay on the loan with the highest interest rate first. So in this example, you can see that for credit card number 2, the interest rate is 41%. So you'd want to pay on that loan first. Following, we have credit card number 1. So we'd want to follow in that sequence and so on.
So viewers, the debt tracker is one effective way in which you can manage your debt. Also, we want to look at setting reminders in our phone. I mean, we have smartphones, so let's put them to use. Please do not wait until your payment date to pay your loan. If you can pay it before, please pay it before, because you do not want to wait until the appointed time. Then you cannot pay it on that time, and then you attract additional late fee or interest.
To add to that, Mandie, another effective strategy to manage your debt is to ensure that you follow up with your creditors. Though you might be doing a salary reduction or a standing order, it is your responsibility to ensure that your loans, your debts are paid properly. So you would want to call the institution every now and again, probably every month or every 3 months, every 6 months, just to ensure that the payments are coming over as arranged. Your responsibility to manage your debt.
Hope, I know a lot of persons who were severely affected by COVID-19. They either lost their job or they were laid off. No, viewers, sometimes this can put you in a serious predicament where you're not able to honor your debt. This is the time that you want to reach out to your financial institution so that they can restructure your debt so it doesn't affect your credit report.
And viewers, it is important for us to understand that things happen. We have unforeseen circumstances. But guess what? You cannot sit at home. Your financial institution cannot understand what is happening with you if you don't take the opportunity to reach out to them. So Mandie, you stated that some persons were laid off temporarily or permanently. Some of us are experiencing a reduction in salary, and as such we might not be able to meet our obligations as we used to. But now is the time that you reach out to the institution and see if they could possibly do a restructure for you, because it's important for us to keep our credit rating in good standing. Remember, debt management is your responsibility.
Certainly, Hope. And something else just came to mind. In a previous episode, we spoke about borrowing, the wise versus the foolish. I think what a wise person would do is ensure that they capitalize on low interest rates. So that debt consolidation that you want to do, now would be a perfect time to capitalize on that when institutions are having promotions or offering low interest rates.
Right. And another thing that I want us all to know is that as debtors, it is important that our creditors understand that we are not neglecting our responsibility.
Certainly.
So whatever your circumstances are, you have to say it. Don't assume that they know. You have to ensure that you talk to them. Another thing, if you're not able, even if you didn't get the restructure that you wanted and you're not able to make the full payment, pay what you have until you're in a better position to pay the full payment. This way, they will see that you're not neglecting your responsibility, and if needs be and you need to get another loan, you will be in a better position to access the loan.
Another thing that we have to ensure that we do is to create a rainy day or emergency fund. Viewers, I know that it is sometimes very challenging, and many of us, well, many persons complain about how small their salaries are, that they can't do this and they cannot do that. But I urge you today to try your best when you are paid to put away a small sum. It doesn't matter how small it is. put away a small sum so when the rough gets going, you are able to ride it out.
Yes, Mandie, and as you said that, this thing came to mind. My mother always said to me, every mickle makes a muckle. And sometimes you're not able to put up the large sum, but you can save coins. I see friends of mine save coins, and at the end of a couple months, they're at 13,000 and 20,000 just from those coins. So it doesn't matter how small it is. Start saving, because we don't know when those unforeseen circumstances will come upon us, and we have to ensure that we're in a position to manage them when they do come.
So viewers, you want to ensure that you maintain a debt to income ratio of 40% or less. This means that your debt obligations should not exceed 40% of your income. Here are some tips on how to manage your debt properly.
It, ladies and gentlemen, another interesting episode. I'm sure there's a lot to take away from this episode, and after today we should be in a better position to manage our debt. Join us in our next episode where we will help you to better understand your credit score. I am Hope Sterling, and my co-host today was Mandie Powell. Remember, debt should be used as a tool for growth. So manage your debt wisely and stay in good financial health.